More coffee, Mike?
About a half a cup, Eddie. We're gonna get that heap of mine rolling pretty quick.
You got a good night for it. Evening. I guess I mean morning.
Good morning.
Aye.
Coffee?
Plenty, and black.
For me, 8 hours of good sleep.
What do you come for?
Quite a way. Incidentally, how far are we now from...
Oh, they're at it again tonight. Playing tag and chicken. Young fools.
Tag? Chicken? What do you mean?
With cars, they play games. The young ones of the town. Like tag, that's when one hot rod is,
They're not hot rods. They're shot rods.
Oh.
A real hot rodder don't play games. He races his car only where it's safe. It's these shot rods that cause all these accidents that you read about in the papers.
Oh, yeah? Well, anyways, when one is it, another one tries to tag him, and then maybe pass it on to 3 or 4 other shot rods. And chicken is like when 2 cars are coming head-on together. Well, the first one to steer off, that driver's chicken. He's afraid, he's a coward. They got a lot of other games they play, too, like ride off and clip me and B&B. That means bumper to bumper. It's a wonder any of them ever lived through it.
It's a wonder I lived through it. None of us want this run anymore on account of those, what'd you call them?
Shot rods.
I got these gray hairs trying to keep my rig from smashing them into junk.
Can't the police do anything about it?
Oh, they try, sure, but the state police can't be everywhere, and the city police ain't allowed to patrol out this far. And besides, a lot of these youngsters have got parents with influence. How's the coffee, okay?
Fine.
Well, anyways, I don't suppose they mean any harm. Bunch of young bucks trying to blow off steam.
Oh, blowing off steam, huh? I'd like to blow them off the highway. Drivers like that makes it tough for us guys.
Yeah. They're what we call second-rate drivers. If they weren't, they wouldn't drive like that. We have a saying in our business, the only good drivers are old drivers. If they weren't good, they wouldn't live to be old.
Oh, I don't know. A lot of kids around this town are good drivers, and they... Say, I've seen your picture in the paper recently. Yeah, sure, you're,
He's Duke Marshall, the world's greatest racing driver.
Oh.
Me, I'm Angelo Murillo, the world's greatest mechanic. Right, Duke?
Half right, Angelo. I'm sure you're the world's greatest mechanic.
I knew your face looked familiar. Duke Marshall, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be in the fairground races, aren't you?
That's right.
Pleased to meet you, Duke. Seen you race up in Kansas City once, real good.
Thanks.
Here comes a couple of them now. Morning, Joyce. Morning, Paul. You're out kind of late tonight, aren't you?
It's date night, and the loneliest night in the year.
Is that you I heard whizzing by here a while ago?
Not us. Junior here turned sissy on me.
Why? Oh.
Oh, I think those games are goofy. Besides, it's the family car. When Dad taught me how to drive, he said I should remember that the other guy...
He didn't say anything like the kids at school are going to say when they hear about it. Especially Walt and Linda.
Linda Ellsworth? Is she out on the highway tonight, too?
She's the lucky one. She's out with Walt in that real cool car of his. Me, I get old Aunt Agnes here.
Now, look here, Joyce.
I'll probably never live it down.
Maybe not, but you live. Good boy, Paul. Now, what'll it be, Coke or coffee?
Neither one. Come on, Joyce, I'm taking you home.
All right. It's as good a way as any to end a dull evening, Mr. Eaton.
Thanks, Eddie.
That was my daughter. I give her the over-the-lap key treatment.
The what?
That's what my mama used to tell me when I acted bad. Over the lap key, then wham, wham.
Oh, I don't think that's the answer, Angelo. Not at their age.
You're right, Duke. Joyce isn't a bad girl. She's just speed happy, that's all. Usually runs around with a young fellow by the name of Walt DeVore. You heard her mention him. He's the son of one of our big wheels around town here. And his father gave him what's turned out to be one of the slickest cars around here.
This boy, Paul, the one she called Sissy, he seems to have some sense.
Yeah, Paul's smart. He's captain of the football team, he's a track star, a good boy. But it's the others I worry about, the reckless ones, the ones who just don't seem to care. Oh, if they could just talk to a professional. Like you, Mr. Marshall. You could tell them plenty.
Oh, not me. No, I'm not a teacher or a police officer. I'm just a guy who makes his living driving.
Yeah, so do I. But somebody ought to do something about these kids.
I understand lots of people are trying. Many of the high schools have driving courses now.
Well, maybe they ought to have courses for their parents. You show me a boy that's a nutty driver, and I'll lay you odds his old man's a crazy driver, too.
Could be. Well, let's roll, Angelo. It seems the world's greatest mechanic has fallen asleep. Angelo, come on, wake up. Does it, Angelo? Stay with the trailer. I'll be right back. Now, you young hellion. Well, a girl.
Yeah, it seems to me, Marshal, that's the name, isn't it? You're making a big to-do over nothing. It obviously was an accident. My son Walter, and for that matter, Ellsworth's daughter Linda, are not vicious criminals, as you seem to imply.
I implied nothing of the kind.
They're just high-spirited youngsters. The same as you were, I imagine, when you were young.
My high spirits, Mr. DeVore, never led me to use a powerful automobile as a potential weapon of death. Your son admitted that he was giving Linda a lesson in cuddle, a charming little game the young people of this town seem to find amusing.
My son is an excellent driver. I taught him how to drive myself.
Yes, I sort of thought you had.
What do you mean by that?
What do you want us to do, Mr. Marshall?
If you're worried about your racer, we'll pay for the damage on that.
You will, Mr. DeVore? That race car is worth $25,000. Still prepared to pay? You might have had to, you know. Plus funeral expenses for your son. And for Linda, Mr. Ellsworth. No, gentlemen, it's not good enough, this fast talk about high-spirited youngsters. And I'm not sure this crazy driving is wholly their fault. I think part of it is yours and a lot of other parents. It's your responsibility to make sure that your children drive safely, for their own good as well as to protect others. But instead of giving them the guidance they need, you shrug the whole thing off as unimportant teenage growing pains.
Now, see here, Marshal.
It isn't my business to start a crusade. But somebody's got to try to stop the sort of thing that happened here last night. And we, gentlemen, are going to make a try.
What do you mean, we?
I said we, because if I don't get your cooperation, I'm going to bring criminal charges against both of you for contributing to the delinquency of minors.
You're right, Mr. Marshall. What do you want us to do?
Excuse me, will you, Frankie? Pardon me, Joe. Let me through, would you? No, he left you. Thank you. Who gets it?
What started this hassle anyway, Walt? Your father called mine, and I got the very...
Don't let it worry you. Linda here just picked the wrong car to cut off, that's all.
Well, you told me to do it, Walt DeVore.
And my father told me that if I didn't go to this meeting or whatever it is, he'd never let me drive the car again.
Listen, Walt, you better explain why all of us are on the beef list.
Let me throw it up here. Relax, don't race it. It's all very simple. Linda and I were out on 32 the other night like a lot of you were. I was teaching her how to drive. We rode off a car.
Just happened to be Duke Marshall, the big shot race driver.
But how did he catch you?
Rode us down.
Rode you down?
Don't forget, Duke Marshall is a professional.
So the large wheel threw his weight around.
Anyway, he made a lot of noise. So our folks have been notified, and we're supposed to go to the fairgrounds this afternoon and get a nice, big, fat lecture from Preacher Marshall.
Are you going, Walt?
Why not? It'll give us a chance to get a real close look at that race car of his. It's a Hollingsworth special, a real sprint job.
If Walt goes, I will.
Hey, that's right.
Yes, sir, they don't come any better than Duke Marshall. And there's the sweetest car on the track. Now, that's where I come in.
But what are they racing today for?
They ain't racing. They just tune up the day before the races.
Hey, where's that guy Marshall? I can't wait around here all day. I hope you make this brief, Marshall. I've got to get back to my office.
And I hope you take just as much time as you need, Mr. Marshall.
What I have to say won't take very long. And I especially want you to listen.
All right, come on. Let's get on with it.
Hi, kids.
Hi.
Sorry I'm a few minutes late. I had to stop in town to pick up this. Well, how do you like it?
Gee, it's a real beauty.
You're probably expecting a lecture from me. If so, you're going to be disappointed. I'm not a lecturer. I'm a professional racer, a guy who makes his living driving cars. So, maybe I know a few things about wheeling a car that you'd like to hear about.
Our teacher must have studied psychology.
Let's face it, almost anybody can drive a car. And it doesn't take any intelligence to drive a car fast, just fast. Fact is, you could probably train a chimpanzee to sit in this racer and hold the accelerator down to the floorboard.
That the reason you're so good, Duke?
No, because you see, the chimpanzee wouldn't get halfway around that track before he cracked up. He wouldn't have the know-how, the respect for rules and regulations you've got to have in order to be a good driver. Let me ask you a question. Why do you try to get good grades in school?
So we can pass.
Well, that's one reason. But in order to pass, you've got to do certain things. Follow certain rules and regulations. If you stick to the rules and do your level best, you get a diploma. Same thing applies to driving a car. If you follow the rules, you get to be a first-rate driver. A good driver. If you don't, you're just a show-off. And it doesn't make any difference whether you're 17 or 47. These show-offs, these second-rate drivers, are the bullies who cut in and out, crowd other motorists, and hog the road. In fact, you can figure any reckless, heedless, speeding show-off of a driver as a second-rate punk. Out there, we don't have much trouble weeding out the punks. They do it for themselves. If they don't abide by the rules, they get disqualified. Sometimes they disqualify themselves from living. Did any of you ever pull a person out of a real bad auto wreck and see the splinters of bone sticking through the flesh of the legs and arms? Listen to the shrieks of pain that come from a face that's been smashed to a pulp? And hear that mutilated face beg for death because the pain was so horrible? Well, I have. And it's not pretty. Not to anybody. Especially not to the person who's been cut to ribbons or crippled for life. Come on over here a minute. I want to show you something. People who make modern automobiles have done everything possible to protect us in case of accidents. Even going so far as to provide a pop-out windshield. Your head will never go through that. In a bad accident, it's designed to pop out in one piece.
Say, that really is something.
What a beautiful padded instrument panel.
It's not only beautiful, it's safe. That safety cushion and the recessed instruments are built to protect front seat passengers.
Hey, Duke, the brake's on the wrong side.
On the right side. For the right hand. In that position, the fellow sitting beside you can grab it, too.
Hey, I wonder why the front seat is slanted so much.
Yeah, it is tilted back, isn't it?
Oh, I get it. In case of an accident, there's less chance of you being thrown forward.
Sure, you remember what we learned about inertia in physics?
That's right, just like an airplane seat.
Now, this car also...
All right, Marshal. But what's all this leading up to?
The point is, Mr. DeVore, that even with the world's safest front seat, it's the nut that holds the steering wheel who causes accidents.
Nice going,
That's
Duke.
right, I never thought of that. That's right. I only have a couple of nuts I know. That
I don't think there's anybody here who would ever willfully want to cause an accident or endanger anybody's life. And I suppose I could ask you all to say that you try to drive more carefully because, well, because you want to be a top-notcher in driving instead of a show-off, a punk. But I've got a better deal.
Here comes the gimmick.
Gimmick, Walt? Maybe. But it might mean the difference between your being alive 6 months from now or buried under 6 feet of heavy dirt. Now, I have here some good driver agreements that are part of a safety campaign. I'll have Angelo pass them around among you so you can see them. You'll notice that there are 2 kinds. A man-to-man agreement for you young fellows and your dads, and a dad-to-daughter agreement for you young ladies and your father.
You mean we have to sign one of these?
No, you don't have to. But signing it proves that you're mature enough to make a decision. The decision that your life is worth more than a couple of thrills.
Is this pledge idea something new?
I should say not. Thousands of young drivers have signed. And each signer gets a card certifying that he's a member of this group of good drivers.
That's a pretty good idea.
Sounds good to me, too. Fun.
I've never heard of anyone breaking this pact, but of course your pledge is only as good as your word of honor. Well, what about it?
This is okay, Duke.
Sounds good to me. I'm for it.
We'll
Come on.
sign it.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it. Now, here's the line you sign on right there, you see. Do you know where?
All right, Walt, go and sign the fool thing and let's get it over with. Of all the nonsensical things I ever... Well, it is, honey. Look, Walt's a good driver now. He doesn't need anything like that.
Paul, are you going to take one home?
Sure am. How about you?
I don't have to. My dad's right here. Let me have your pen for me.
Honey, I'm proud of you.
I feel pretty good about it, too.
Say, Mr. Marshall, is there any place in town I can get some more of these agreements?
Sure. The name and address of the automobile dealer where I got them is on the back of the agreement.
Now, let me see. I give my word of honor.
Now we can start having some fun again, Joyce. Out of that big noise Duke Marshall's left. Ever since that business of signing agreements, everybody in town's turned chicken. All that word of honor stuff.
He was awfully nice in a way. And he did win the big race.
Yeah, by speeding like I told us not to. Big deal.
Oh, well, everybody will forget all about it now.
Sister, I already have. Even my father said the whole thing, agreements and everything, was a lot of malarkey. Just to show you what I think of this thing. Now let's really travel.
We trimmed them that time, didn't we, Joe? How about something to eat, Mama?
It won't take a second. The coffee's all ready.
Good.
I'll be right back.
You girls play a nice summer game, you know.
A truck. Why is there always a truck on these hills?
Can't you hurry a little bit, John? It's after 10 and the children should have been in bed long ago.
She'll do better after we get over the hill. We'll be home soon.
That road hog of a truck. It'll take him hours to climb this hill. I'm going around.
Walt, be careful.
Forbes, did Walt say where he was going tonight? You know he left the word. All of a sudden, the strangest feeling came over me. Forbes, I wonder if Walt is all right. It's just that I worry so about him with that fast car.
But remember, your pledge is only as good as your word of honor.
Sometimes a guy wants to be alone. Alone, that's all, just alone. With somebody else, he's got to talk. He's got to tell him what he's thinking. Well, maybe he's thinking of nothing. Maybe he's thinking of everything. Maybe he's just feeling something. You can tell sometimes without talk how a guy's feeling. The look on his face, the way he moves, the way he sits. The closer you look, the more you can tell. Little things you notice, like the way he does with his mouth, the way he punches at something, the way he holds his head. What can you tell about Phil's feelings? He's not playing ball this afternoon. Something is up. There's going to be a party at his house tonight. Does he want to go to it? His brother is getting engaged. Does he like that idea? You can tell a lot if you look close. Gee, the 5:10. Should have been home. Mom will be sore, and I promised Jim I'd bathe. Better get going. He says it all without a word. How slow can you hurry? But a guy acts the way he feels. Phil's rushing to where he doesn't want to go. All night he'll be telling how he feels. By his actions. But people at a party don't bother to look closer. Sure, they notice he's not around when the guests arrive, but they don't think what it means. To them, he's just late.
Oh, but where's your brother? Where's Phil?
Getting dressed.
Phil! Come on, we're all waiting for you.
Hey, Phil, hurry up.
I'm coming in a sec.
Hey, Phil, what's keeping you? Say, you're not coming down dressed like that, are you?
My jacket doesn't fit.
Oh, here, take one of mine. Here, let me fix your tie. What's the matter? Why so nervous? I'm the one's getting engaged. Okay, you look beautiful. Let's go. Come on. What's this?
Oh, I was just dividing up our stuff. That's yours and that's mine. What about the gun? You said it was half mine when you bought it. What'll I do? Do
What's
I keep
eating
it
you?
or
I'm
give
just
it back?
getting engaged. I'm not going anyplace.
Just sorting things out.
Don't rush me, huh? Come on.
Oh, there's Phil and Jim.
Hi, Bess. Sorry I'm late.
Mother, I'm sorry
Hi,
for
Uncle
the delay.
Charlie.
I hope we haven't inconvenienced things up for you. But you know, it is.
Oh, there's my baby nephew. Why, Philip. You're a huge giant. Look how he's grown. Oh, but
Yes, that's
Jimmy,
right. He's quite a
darling,
big
he's
boy.
taller than we are.
Excuse me, I have to help Dad.
Why,
right,
isn't
Beth.
that amazing?
My boy.
How he's grown.
Dad, can I open it?
You take care of the soft drinks, okay?
Yeah.
Here, son.
Thank you, Dad.
No, I'm just giving you one glass. You're gonna have to share for a whole lifetime. You might as well learn now.
Going to be happy too.
Oh,
champagne. Very
Here,
appropriate.
champagne for us. Oh, why,
Thank you,
isn't
Charles.
that nice?
Lot more than me.
Oh, champagne. Won't you have some?
I'll take
Thank
soda.
you, Phil.
I'll have some. Thank you.
Yes, that's right, son.
Oh,
Thank you. Oh, would you
Swell,
mind giving
thank
me
you,
a
Phil.
drink?
here, Mary.
Thanks. Oh, thank
Won't you have some?
Don't be in a hurry.
Oh.
Thanks.
I should have remembered. How about me, Dad?
Oh, sure. No, Phil, I'm sorry. Orangeade for you.
It's all right, Dad. It's a special occasion.
No, Jim, it's still orangeade for him.
Sorry, Phil.
You have it.
The wedding fella.
Now, son, all the other youngsters are having orangeade.
Oh, Mother, please.
They want to grow up so fast.
Attention, everybody. A toast to our Janet and Jim. May they find true happiness with each other.
They're such a lovely couple. Jim, you really should kiss your fiancé.
All right, we're going to have plenty of time for that. Let's dance.
Phil, you want to come over and put on the music for us?
Janet, this once belonged to Jim's great-grandmother. Now I want you to have it.
Oh, Mrs. Martin, I don't know what to say. If my mother could only have been here, she would have been so proud. I promised to call her long distance at the hospital.
Give her my love, dear.
Janet, come here, huh?
Oh,
Aunt
it's
Belle gave
lovely.
us.
Thank you, Aunt
Yes?
Belle. It's
I'm so
beautiful.
Thank you very much for the present.
You're
Aunt
welcome.
Belle.
Hi. Come on, Dad. You promised me a dance.
No, no,
Will you
I haven't
kiss
danced
us?
at all for years now. I feel foolish.
Come on.
No, I couldn't. All right.
Come on. What a line, Barry. Why, you're good.
I've had enough.
Oh, folks,
would you mind coming in and helping me out?
Oh.
Of course not.
You don't have to. I have enough help. It
Smells good. We'll call you when it's ready.
Try keeping us away.
Come on. Oh, I don't know how much I'll like that.
Hey, Jim.
What's the matter?
Here's a present for you.
Oh, a record. Oh, this one. Janet, look, a collector's item. It's Bob.
Oh, isn't it
Jim,
sweet?
got
One
it.
of my favorites.
How was the office today? You know, I've been meaning to talk to you.
I think it's a wonderful present, Phil. So does Jim.
You put this finger around the ball like this, around that seam, that finger around this seam. That's how the best pitchers shoot their curve. You see everybody hold it that way. You take the ball like this and pull it back behind your ear. And then you spit on it as you throw it to the plate, and nobody will
Excuse me, Phil. Joyce, I'd like to have you meet Ted Ross. Ted Ross, Joyce.
Do you mind if I dance with her, pal?
Why not?
Okay, Joyce, come on.
Jim, mind if I duck out?
On my engagement party? Are you kidding?
No, I forgot. I gotta see somebody about something.
You knew about tonight.
Yeah.
Is something wrong, boy?
No.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Look, why don't you go over and keep your cousins happy?
Yes, sir. Anything you say. What do you know, cousin? Having fun?
I guess you know you're awful pretty.
Flatterer.
Oh, I'd be honored. Jan, look out.
Oh, I'm a married man.
Careful, Jim. It's the married ones you gotta watch out for.
See this? Now watch. Oh, that was an easy one. Have a drink. Go on. Cheers. Hey, how you like the bubbles?
Oh, Dad.
Yes, Jim?
Have you seen that white? Stop it.
Come on, let's go.
All right, now it's my turn, Janet. Hey, Phil. Hey, Phil. Watch him, kid. Oh, they're great. They really know how to dance.
want to dance, Coach?
Oh, okay.
Some boy, huh?
Yeah, sure.
Here. Let me fix you a drink.
No, thanks. I don't drink.
That's all right. It's on the house. Come on, try a glass. One little glass. It's only champagne. It won't hurt you. It'll do you good. Watch this.
I told you, I don't drink.
Well, don't be chicken about it. It'll do you good.
I don't want any.
Why not?
Because?
Have you ever tried it?
No.
And how do you know?
I just know.
Yes, because Papa said so. Come on, man, relax. Live it up.
Look, he just doesn't want
Who are
any.
you kidding? It's not what he wants. It's his folks. Just because they don't touch his stuff. Come on. One little sip. Go on. Here.
I told you, I don't want it.
Give me one good reason. Pop and Mama forgot to tell him the reason.
Hey, watch out, Phil. Well, children, you all having a good time?
Yes, we are, ma'am. You just gonna stand there and hold that thing?
I told you, I don't want it.
Come on, take it down. Yeah, that's it. What did I tell you? Nothing to it, huh? Just like ginger ale, except for that little kick at the end of it. That's what separates the men from the boys. You're real great.
Oh.
Hey, Janet, look at Pete.
I can't keep my feet out of the way.
Have you noticed the way Philip's been behaving tonight, dear?
Yes, I've been watching him. I hope he's not going to make a fool of himself.
Does he do this sort of thing often?
No, never before.
Look, dear.
Excuse me. Hey, what's the matter?
Oh, nothing.
It looks like you've had too much to drink.
I didn't want to drink.
You better learn to say no and make it stick. You must have swallowed that drink in one gulp. Come on, the fresh air will do you good. You never know how alcohol's going to hit you.
Come on, Phil, knock it off, will you?
Phil, will you stop?
Hey, Phil, knock it off, will you?
All right, cut it out, Phil.
Well, I'll help you with the clothes. Baby, all right. Well, I'll...
Refreshments, everyone. Come. Hey, come on, let's eat, Paul.
Oh, boy. Very funny.
Here, I brought coffee for you.
I don't want it.
You need it, you fool. Hey, wait!
Hi, what's up? Hey, what are you doing?
What do you want to do? Fight?
Phil, stop it. You're heading for trouble. Don't mind him,
That's
Flo.
okay.
Excuse me. Phil, where are you going? Phil? Phil! Oh, where do you think you're going?
I told you, I have to see somebody.
Not in the shape you're in.
Look, will you stop treating me like a baby? Just leave me alone.
All right, give me those.
Jim.
I
Where's
hope
Jim?
Jim doesn't disapprove of me saying goodbye to you. He may be out on the porch.
maybe.
Oh, here he
Oh,
is.
Jim.
What's
Just
happening?
wanted
Well,
to
I'm
say
glad you
goodnight.
well, you take care of yourself
Hey,
and have a
chum,
nice trip
watch
home.
the road.
Don't worry,
Bye-bye.
I will. Okay.
Well, good night, Jim.
Thank you, Jim. It was a lovely party.
Hey, Ted, don't forget, we'll see you on Saturday.
Good night.
Thank
you
you
got
very
a
much.
party?
We had a
Yeah,
lovely
Jim is a
time.
lucky guy.
Oh, thank you, Ted.
Jim,
What's
what's
wrong?
the matter with Phil? Is he sick?
I guess so. He's been in bad shape for the last hour. He'll be all
I
right.
think he's drunk.
Wake up, Phil. Phil, do you hear me?
Come on, kids. I think we'd better go.
I'm awfully sorry, everybody. I guess he must have had one too many.
Give him a glass of milk.
That's
That should be
right,
all right
sure.
for him, okay?
You shouldn't leave him that way.
Yeah.
Good night.
It's cold.
Yeah.
It's a shame this had to happen.
Somebody ought to watch kids like that when there's alcohol around.
He was looking for trouble, all right.
I think he brought the trouble with him.
Jim, don't worry.
Well, the stupid jerky had to pick our party to see how much liquor he could drink.
I'll go in and keep your mother and father busy. You take them upstairs.
All right. Just a slobbering baby. Come on. Phil, come on.
Mother's back there.
How does she feel?
All right, tired, I
Yes.
guess.
I just wanted to...
Hey, you're doing all right.
I just wanted to tell you both how much we appreciate all that you've done for us.
Let me alone. Jim, this is your stuff over here, and that's mine. Jim, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
He was looking for trouble, all right. How's he feeling?
He's not feeling very much at the moment, poor kid. He'll be all right in the morning, though.
I wonder what made him drink like that.
It had more to do with me than with the champagne.
It's late now, but Jim is beginning to hear what Phil has been trying to say all night. By words, by actions, by the way he behaved. He's practically been broadcasting that he didn't want to be treated like a kid, that he was somebody too, that he feels a little lost at the idea of Jim's getting married. But nobody heard him. Nobody knew that he felt squelched, that he felt blocked every time he tried to move, that he drank too much because he was sore but couldn't do anything about it. Why does anybody ever drink too much, kid or grown-up? Just because you can't talk about your feelings doesn't mean you don't have them. They come out in what you do and how you do it. You can tell how Phil feels now by the way he walks. How does he feel about what happened last night? Is he proud of himself? Does he like being a kid brother? Does he think it's smart to try to prove he's grown up? He's still telling the world how he feels, by how he acts. Most of us just don't look closely enough.
Why does Martha have to have a party? Hard times party at that. What makes you think I'd like to bring Carol? Oh, Carol's all right. I don't have any fun at parties. Kids just aren't friendly.
Oh, Bill, that might be your fault.
I doubt it.
Maybe it's just that you don't know how to use social courtesy.
Social what?
Social courtesy, Bill.
Oh, that's old-fashioned.
What's old-fashioned about having fun at parties?
What's having fun at parties got to do with social courtesy?
If you give me a chance, I'll show you.
Go ahead.
All right. First, let's get you to Carol's house to call for her.
What? Well, I'll be.
Now go ahead and ring the doorbell. I'll stick around and help you out.
Well. Hey, look, what's so special about this? I don't have to be courteous just to call for my date, do I?
Hi, Bill. What a costume. I'm nearly ready. Do you want to come in for a minute?
Nearly, huh? I'll wait out here. Don't take all night.
Hold it. Let's take a picture of this situation. Now look at that, Bill. Here Carol was trying to be friendly. And you said people aren't friendly. No, Bill. You discourage others when they want to be friendly. You'd better back up and start all over again. I don't think Carol's going to want to go out with you again unless you...
Huh?
Did I touch a sore spot, Bill? Well, maybe you'd better try to be more friendly this time.
Hi, Bill. Oh, that's quite a costume. I'm nearly ready. Do you want to come in for a minute?
Oh, thanks, Carol. But I guess I'll wait out here, if you don't mind.
Well, all right. I won't be long.
How am I doing?
Better. But you might have gone inside as she asked.
Well, I wanted to check with you. Hey, say, wait a minute. Is this social courtesy, what I've been doing?
It's part of social courtesy. Just simple friendliness.
Here I am.
Let me help.
Thank you. Here we go. This will be a lot of fun tonight. It's all planned. Bill, and you go on and join the party. Cover me, Carol.
All right, Bill, you're at the party. Now let's see you try some more social courtesy. I'll be right here to help you.
Thanks.
About time. Hi, Bill. Hey, you know what?
I don't know, no. Cut it out. For Pete's sake, the way you go.
But
hello, Bill. How are you?
Okay, I guess.
Bill, aren't you going to learn? You're being very rude to Martha's mother. She thinks you're very impolite. Look at you sprawled out in that chair. You're supposed to rise when an adult speaks to you. Everybody knows that. Now, let's back up and try it again. And see if you can be polite. Oh, come on, Bill, sit up. That's a chair, not a bed. That's better. Watch it now, here she comes.
Well, hello, Bill. How are you?
Fine, thanks. I didn't expect to see you in costume. That's pretty clever.
Well, thank you. You did pretty well yourself.
Well, thanks. You like it?
I certainly do. There's Ellen. I want to see her. Have fun.
Well, now, wasn't that better? Look at the effect of a little politeness. You've had a very pleasant talk with Martha's mother.
Well, she seemed friendlier than usual.
That's because you were friendly and courteous. Now, look over to your left. Martha's introducing a stranger to the group. She'll be here soon. Suppose you had to make the introductions. How would you do it?
Me? Oh, well, I'm not going to. That's Martha's job.
Well, we can fix that up pretty easily. All it takes is a little switch. And now you have to do the introducing.
Martha, Hank.
Hold it, Bill. Not so good. Let's go back to the beginning and let Martha show you how.
Bill, I'd like you to meet Hank Latner. This is Bill Brandt.
Hi. I'm glad to know you.
Hank is the fellow who won the city math contest last week. Except for that, he's normal.
I say, you could help me with my algebra, couldn't you?
Well, I could try.
Well, not now. This is a party, remember? Besides, I want you to meet my mother.
All right.
Goodbye, Bill.
See you later, Bill.
Yeah, sure thing, Hank.
You see, a good introduction makes meeting people simpler and more pleasant.
Sure, you're right. But there's so much to learn how to do.
Sure, there's a lot to learn, but it's worth it. And learning is easy. One way is by watching others.
Oh. Oh, here comes Carol. It's about time, too. How long does it take to take your coat off?
Easy, Bill. Is it going to help any if you complain?
No.
All right. Be friendly, thoughtful. Join in the fun. You'll get along. I'll see you at refreshment time.
Huh?
Hi, Bill.
Oh, hi, Carol. Oh, come on, let's join the game.
Swell. How about a Virginia Rio?
Yeah. Let's clean up.
Bill, how are you getting along?
All right.
How about some refreshments? Aren't you hungry?
It's a good idea.
You could get some for Carol, too.
That is a good idea.
Are you talking to yourself?
Oh, no, I was just thinking. I'll get you some food.
Why, thank you, Bill. Oh, dear.
I'm sorry, Joan.
Oh, it was all my fault. I didn't watch where I was going.
You didn't watch where you were going. Here, I'll get you some more.
Oh, you don't have to, Bill.
It's all right. Here. You want some
No.
apple? Okay.
Thank you.
It's all right.
Now you're getting the idea, Bill. Be friendly. Be thoughtful. What do you think of social courtesy now?
I guess it makes being with people a lot more enjoyable for me.
And more enjoyable for them, too. You've made a good impression on people here. Listen.
Isn't that the boy who used to be so rude?
Why, yes.
You you hear that? She says you're not as rude as you used to be.
What do you know?
And look at Carol.
Bill's changed so. Why, he's actually nice now. I'm glad I came with him. Really.
Those few changes made a big difference, didn't they?
Yes, social courtesy does make a difference. And it's easy to learn. You can learn by watching others. And you can even get a book on courtesy from the library.
I might at that. Sorry I took so long. I had an accident.
Thank you. Phil, I'm having some of the kids over to my house next Saturday night. I'd like to have you come, too.
Oh, I don't... Sure. Sure, I'd like to come.
Good.
Thanks for asking me. Social courtesy does pay, doesn't it? Thanks.
Once a year, the members of the junior senior classes have this banquet. This a time for good food and fun. A time...
Walter, what language is that?
What? Just a minute. Have to turn up the...
I'll stop the recorder.
What's the matter?
I couldn't understand you. Have you written your speech?
Sure. See?
Is this what you were saying?
Sure. You see, I'm toastmaster for the banquet.
You are what?
Toastmaster.
Oh, toastmaster. Then you'll want everyone to understand your speech, won't you? And you'll want them to think well of you because your pronunciation is right.
Just reading what's there.
No, you're not, Walter. The page reads, once a year, the members of the junior and senior classes have this banquet. This is a time for good... And what you said reads like this.
That doesn't make sense.
No, you have to say the words as clearly as they are written.
But I don't get it. People understand what you say.
Do they understand?
Sure. Sure they do.
What about yesterday? Do you remember calling Frank? You told him to meet you...
Yeah. Yeah. Corner Ashton Steuben.
That's right, Ashton and Steuben. But Ashland and Schubert was where Frank waited for over an hour.
Did he? Well, no wonder he was mad. Or maybe he had some trouble being understood. But so does everybody else.
Yes, many persons have trouble being understood. Take your friend Don, for example. Remember the other day you asked Don where he was going?
I'm going to science lab.
You still didn't know the answer to your question. That's it. Try writing what it sounded like.
Gonna... Science lab. Gonna science lab.
You see, he needs pronunciation help as much as you do. And so do some of your other friends. You called Jane to ask for a date. What did she say?
Well, that was fine. Where'll I meet you?
What did she say? Then there was Bill telling you about a movie he had seen.
Yeah, it's down at the Orpheum Theater. A real, genuine thriller.
But how can you put much stock in what Bill says when he uses pronunciations like theater and genuine? Or remember in class when Betty was reading poetry.
I'm going to read The Village Improvement Parade by Vachel Lindsay. Guns salute, and crowds and pigeons fly. Bronze Homeric bars go striding by, shouting glory amid the cannonade.
Oh, you could understand all right. But who wanted to listen? So pronunciation is more than speaking clearly to be understood. You want to be right And you want to sound natural. You want others to respect what you say because it is right.
Yeah? But how can you learn?
Isn't there an instruction sheet here somewhere, one that came with the machine?
Yeah, sure. Here it is.
That's it. And somewhere in it are some rules to improve your pronunciation. What are they? What's one of the rules?
Well, pronounce every syllable. What's that got to do with...
Let's look again. But let's read the rule one syllable at a time.
Pronounce. You're going too slow.
Again.
Pronounce. Evie. It's hard to go so slow.
Keep trying.
Bo.
Now, put it all together.
Pronounce every syllable.
Now try it easily and naturally.
Pronounce every syllable.
That's better.
Is that all there is to... is that all there is to it?
That's the first rule. Pronounce every syllable. Now for the second. Pronounce each sound correctly.
What's the difference between that and the first rule?
Read it.
Pronounce each sound correctly.
That means each sound in every syllable, and no extra sounds.
Well, that's what I'm doing.
That's what you're doing. Well, let's look at the rule. Now, read it again.
Pronounce each sound correctly.
Is there any difference between P-E-R and P-R-O?
P-R-O?
It's a short O sound. Pronounce. Pronounce each sound. Now, is there any difference between sound and sound?
Sound. Sound. Each sound. Correctly. Is that what you mean?
That's it, Walter.
So I should pronounce every syllable and pronounce each sound correctly. What else?
You'll find those two rules very helpful. But if you want really skillful speech, apply the next as well.
Use accepted pronunciations. You mean ways indicated in the dictionary?
Yes, correct sounds and accents.
That's easy.
Let's think a moment. How do you pronounce this? Adults or adults? Or this? Coupon or coupon? Do you wrestle or wrestle? Live under a roof or roof? Catch or catch? Kin or can? Air or
Maybe we do make mistakes pretty often. Or often. I get it. Use the dictionary for accepted pronunciations.
Yes, Walter, but don't exaggerate. You can keep all the rules and still sound natural. And that's our fourth rule.
Use natural pronunciation.
Yes, natural. Well, those are your rules for pronunciation. And if you put them into practice, you'll do very well.
That's great. If it works. Will my speech be improved if I use these rules? Will I be understood? Will people want to listen to me?
What about Don? Would the rules help him?
And about science lab?
That first rule, pronounce every syllable.
I'm going to science lab.
Much better. We know what you said.
Oh, that'll be fine. Where'll I meet you?
What about pronouncing each sound correctly?
Oh, that will be fine. Where shall I meet you?
That's it.
It's down at the Orpheum Theater. A real, genuine thriller.
Use accepted pronunciations. Try theater, genuine.
I see. It's done at the Orpheum Theater, a real, genuine thriller.
Guns salute, and crowds and pigeons
Use natural pronunciation, as you speak when you're not reading poetry.
Guns salute, and crowds and pigeons fly. Bronzed Homeric bards go striding by, shouting glory amid the cannonade.
Well, if the rules work for other people, maybe they'll work for me.
Give them a try. Let's listen to that recording you started to make.
Yeah.
Once a year, the members of the junior and senior classes had this banquet.
Once a year, the members of the junior and senior classes have this banquet. This is a time...
This is station WNMP. And this is where I learned the real value of making notes. This is my notebook. I'm pretty proud of it now. And it's become a good friend to me. You know why? Well, did you ever ask questions like, what's the assignment? Where did I read something about Joseph Lister? What book are we supposed to read for literature? Well, I used to ask questions like those. Now I look in my notebook. You see how it's organized? A section for each class I have. In front of each section, there's a page for assignments. And then, behind that, the notes on each day's class discussion and reading, beginning with the first day that I took notes. That's a long time ago. Don't look at these notes. Here, these are better. You can see how I'm beginning to organize my notes and make them easier to read. They're good notes now. And here's the story of how they got that way. It began at WNMP. Eddie and I visited the station to prepare a report for the class on news broadcasting. Boy, was it interesting. And the next day, in class, and it sure was interesting. We saw a lot of interesting things. We saw the control room and the studios and the newsroom. You know, I wish that that you all could see it.
Wasn't he so sorry? That was terrible. All right, Eddie.
On our trip, we had a chance to go behind the scenes, to actually see how a news broadcast is organized. As you know, the announcer reads from a specially prepared script. But what goes on behind this script? In one room of the studio called the wire room, the teletypes are constantly busy, bringing in news bulletins from the various wire services. WNMP has 2 of these.
How did he remember all that information? How did he organize it so well? Could it be the notes on those cards? Well, I began to wonder about notes, to wonder whether they would help me. Look at Jane. No notes for her. Would she learn by just listening? And Jim. He looks as though he's trying to write down every word. But Mary took notes in a different way. She would listen, think, and then write. Would she learn more that way? Would notes really help you learn? Well, I got my answer when Eddie finished his talk.
Are there any questions? Yes?
You said there are teletype machines, blank, 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 from the wire services. I missed the middle part.
Well, Jim, I don't recall exactly what I said, but the teletype machines are going all the time, bringing in bulletins from the news services. Yes?
Do the announcers work with the writers in preparing comments on the news?
Well, some of them do, and some prepare their own scripts. Yes?
How do they get the news?
Didn't I just cover that?
Well, there it was, as clear as anything. No notes, not much learning. Well, if you try to copy down every word, well, you don't get the ideas, do you? But if you make notes, outline the key ideas, that's the way. Taking good notes helps you understand and remember what is said. And that meant to me that I'd have to start taking notes. I was sure going to need some help, though. Well, Eddie had good notes. Maybe he'd show me the way he does it. We went to one of the library conference rooms where we could talk without disturbing anyone. Well, we had a new reading assignment for that social studies course. But before he got into that, Eddie went back over his notes on our class discussion, what I'd said and what he'd said. They didn't look like much. Eddie showed me, though, how he used abbreviations to save time, and how the notes were a little disorganized because the discussion was a bit disorganized. But in a few minutes, Eddie had those notes in shape. Rewriting them that way gave him a neat, permanent record of the discussion and helped him remember it. Reading the notes, I began to remember more, too. Now, what's this? There was the reading assignment, all written out. No mistakes about what to read or when. But as we got into that reading assignment, I noticed Eddie wasn't making notes. He read all the way to the end of the chapter. And then he paused a minute, thinking through all he had read. He kept talking about remembering the purpose of your reading. Purpose of your reading. Oh, yes. To find the effect of the Federal Communications Commission on radio news broadcasts. All right. I read with that in mind. And do you know, the important material just stood right out from the page. Well, I could see then how to find the important ideas in reading. But just what do you write down? Eddie showed me. FCC licenses wavelengths. Renewals every 6 months. Yes, finding and recording the important ideas in your own words. That's what note-taking is. Remembering your purpose is one way to find those important ideas. There are other cues to use in reading, too. Watch for bold type headings, summary sentences, numbered lists of items, for they tell you what the author thinks is important. And these cues helped Eddie plan out his notes. So I made up my mind to remember my purpose and to watch for cues, both in reading and in listening. For the same thing works well in class.
So we see that radio broadcasting is controlled in 3 ways. By the public, by the sponsor and the station management, and by the government through the power...
Yes, it worked. By listening with purpose in mind, and by following cues, I was able to pick out the important ideas. And the sub-ideas just fell into place. Then, later, when I had a chance, I rewrote my class notes in permanent form. Yes, my notes were beginning to be complete, and better organized, and more useful. Whenever I needed to review my work, whenever I had an exam to prepare for, I'd bring out my notebook. And it was a lot easier than before. I've found, too, that I remember more, even without referring to my notes. So there it is, my notebook. I fixed it up a bit to make it neater, better organized. So now it's a book I'm proud of, a book I'm glad I have. Well, that's the story. Notes have made a difference for me, and they can for you, too. Make a note of that, will you?
Sure, I work part-time. After school, 2 days a week and all day Saturday. I'm glad to have the money. But I'm also glad for experience that'll help me get a full-time job later.
When I have the chance, I babysit evenings, even though I spend a lot of my spare time helping around home. It's nice to have a little spending money. And besides, well, someday I hope to have children of my own, and I'll know better how to take care of them.
Part-time job? Not for me. I don't learn as fast as some do, and all my extra time has to go into studying to keep up. So I don't have any part-time work.
Some of us want part-time work. Others do not. But for those who do, there is a variety of part-time job opportunities. Mowing lawns, delivery jobs, retail jobs, fountain jobs, outdoor jobs of all sorts, and many others. Let's find out more about Bill Drake, who works in this bookstore part-time, how he came to have this job, and why he likes it so well. Some weeks ago, Bill was walking along and saw something he'd like to have bought very much. But he just didn't have the cash to pay for it. That had happened to Bill before, and he was determined to find a part-time job. He had called at the school placement office, inquired among his friends, and was following the want ads in the newspaper. So many different kinds of jobs. Which kinds should Bill try for? Just how could he get one of these jobs? He soon found that looking for a job takes time, patience, and nerve. Often you'll find you've been beaten to the job you wanted, but you just have to keep trying until you find what you want. Too bad, though. Bill would like to learn about small business, because someday he wants to have a business of his own. But right now, today, Bill wants to earn some spending money, so try another. Boy, printer's assistant. That would be fun. And he might learn about the business in that job, too. But no, some training is needed to qualify for that one. Bill will have to use more care in selecting places to apply. He keeps looking for jobs where he could do the work and perhaps learn a bit as well. It takes time and patience. And then...
Jameson's bookstore. Why, he's looking for... Yes, here it is. Boy for part-time work in bookstore. I'll bet I could get that job. Maybe get a typewriter at a discount. But a bookstore. Boy, I get enough of books all day long. Still, it is a small business. Maybe I could learn a bit about how it's operated. Nothing like trying, anyway.
Well, hello, Bill. What can I do for you today?
Well, Mr. Jameson, you advertise for a part-time helper. I'd sure like to work for you.
Well, you look as if you could do it. You'll be selling books and handling stock. All day Saturday and 2 days a week after school.
2 afternoons? Oh, I was hoping it would just be Saturdays. But, well, that's all right.
You better be sure. Last young fellow I had left me. Said he didn't have enough time for studying. Now, you know I can't be training people just to lose them. So if you take this job, I'm going to expect you to stay and take care of your studies and recreation in other time.
Oh, yes, sir. I'm sure I can do it.
Well, here's what we'll do. Let's try it out for 2 weeks. If we're both satisfied at the end of that time, you will have a steady job here.
Boy, thanks, Mr. Jameson. When do I start?
Right now.
So Bill started on his first regular part-time job. What did it mean to him? Well, during the day, he was meeting people, learning to get along with people, just as he would all through his life. And he was seeing what it means to play a useful role in the community. And at closing time, he was able to get acquainted with methods of operating a business. He could see how these methods might fit into his own business someday. Bill was also learning responsibility, new skills, new abilities. He was learning the importance of keeping records, and above all, the meaning and value of money. Yes, Bill's job could help him in many ways. He was learning to make use of his time and energy, learning to get along in a regular schedule of work. But there was still this matter of schoolwork. What about school? What effect did Bill's job have on his studies?
Yeah, what about schoolwork? School isn't so easy when you have less time for study. The assignments seem to get heavier every day. Of what value are bookkeeping records to the operator of a small business? Pretty tough. And literature. What similarities of subject matter and style may be found among the New England writers? Good night. It's going to take time to learn all that. And now I've got to go to work. Have to tell Mr. Jameson I can't keep the job, I guess.
Well, Bill, today marks the end of the trial period we agreed upon. I want you to know that I'm very satisfied with your work, and I want you to stay on.
Mr. Jameson...
You know, you remind me of a fellow who used to work here. Oh, not that last fellow. He couldn't hold a candle to you. Had to quit to keep up with his studies. You remind me of a fellow who worked here some time ago. His name was Howard. Howard was a good, steady worker, just like you. Howard always said he got as much out of working here as he did at school. Oh, I guess he was exaggerating a bit, but you know a fellow can learn a lot in a place like this. Well, I'm glad to have you stay.
I'd like to look through some of your books on essays.
Essays?
Yes, you know, Thoreau, Emerson, the New England writers.
Oh, right over there, sir. Browse as much as you wish.
Thanks.
New England writers. I'll bet I could learn a lot of my literature work just keeping eyes and ears open around here. And, boy, what's the matter with me? I can really learn about bookkeeping here, too. This is a small business. And Mr. Jameson keeps records of all income and expenses. I've got it. Mr. Jameson, I'll stay on this job. Why, working here will help me with my schoolwork. I'll make time to study somehow or other, and I'll learn lots of things right here. I'm glad to stay.
Well, I assumed you would.
Bill found that his part-time job helped him in many ways. His schoolwork became easier and even improved. Bill did find that he had less recreation time, that he had to turn down chances for fun because of the responsibility of his job. But whenever he did take time to play, Bill enjoyed himself all the more. He was learning to use his time effectively at play and at school. He was making the most of whatever time he had for study. And there were other benefits from Bill's job. It is nice to have a little money for things you want. So while Bill gave up a lot for his job, he also gained a great deal. Let's see how he feels about it all now.
I feel fine about it. And I'm going to keep this job. I'm learning all sorts of things. I'm getting experience that's valuable on how a small business is run. And I'm earning money for my efforts. Maybe you should consider part-time work. You'll have to decide for yourself. Think it over. Consider carefully. It's worthwhile to work part-time, if you can spare the time.
Y'all sure were good today. You're good scouts and sure thank you for everything. Bye! Are you really bad off?
When the president of Kilgore College asked me to come see him to talk about something to do for halftime entertainment that would not only be colorful, but would keep the people in the seats, I said, well, what do you want? A pep squad, or a drill squad, or a drumming bugle corps? And he said, oh, none of those. And I said, well, what do you want? He said, that's why I hired you.
We're left, right, left.
I tried to instill many values to the girls under my direction. Number one, and above all things, is to be a lovely, poised young lady. They must always be the kind of girl that you can depend on. They must have values of life that are morally sound and that fit with society as long as it does not curb them to such a degree but that they can't be individuals. There are many reasons a young lady wants to be a rangerette. Some of them want to be rangerettes because their big sisters were, or their older sisters, or their cousins, or some kinfolks, or some girl they particularly like in town. Some want to be a rangerette because they've seen us on television and they think it looks most glamorous. Go back to this old theory that we all have so much hand in us. We hate to get out and perform alone, but when we can perform in a group, then everybody feels like that they are a star. Others want to be because they feel like the uniform is just about the most beautiful and the cutest thing, and they can just visualize how they would look in one. Their little sissy red blouses, just little plain blue skirts, and that's our flag, and that's everything concerned with our nation, the most beautiful nation there is. I don't know just exactly what does motivate each girl. I do know that I have never asked a girl to be a rangerette yet. I have never recruited. I've never had to.
You're not going to get $1 million, but at least you get. I'm Bessie Nell Davis. Cynthia Moore from Corpus Christi now. Oh, how nice. Is it wet down where you are? I heard it. The cars. That's what I heard. I'm Bessie Nell Davis, and I know who you are. You're going to start right in again. Hello, welcome. I'm Bessie Nell Davis. From where now? Nebraska. Oh, Nebraska. Welcome. How very nice you're here. Hello. I'm Bessie Nell Davis. Diane Parkhill from Huntsville. That's right, you surely are. Even with the college there, you're here. Hello. I'm Phyllis Bean. Kilgore. You certainly are Phyllis Bean. Well, I'm Bessie Nell Davis. The Sophomore Rangerettes and I welcome you. We're so thrilled that you're here, and we know you're here because you want to be a rangerette more than anything in the world. You haven't been asked to be one. You have asked to be one. We're going to do everything in our power. Each girl here, one of these girls will be your big sister, and every girl here will be doing nothing but helping you be a rangerette. Remember, we tried to make you one, not to eliminate you. So welcome and get ready for 2 weeks of intense work, something you will never forget in your whole life. And next year, you'll be up here doing it for another group of freshmen.
Forward march. Ready, begin. Start. What's this? Okay, play. Let's do it again.
If a girl wants to be a rangerette, she is obligated to me to try out and to work. Now, there are many who do not make the rangerette line. First, a girl must have normal rhythm, and she must show improvement. And since the high kick is our trademark, they have to be able to kick over their head.
Let's do it again. First step. Make it look good.
The line must look as one. And if any girl stands out by the way she does her routine, then she can't be in the line because the line is one person.
Now, do you see yourself making mistakes? See what it looks like? That's why we want you to think, we kept saying. Thinking up here does nothing but think. Down here works. Of course, your head has to work too. Well, we've seen it. We've got so much to work on, I don't think we'll ever get through. You start with step one. Anybody that couldn't do step one, you shouldn't be here. We've got to remember on our contagion, we've got to learn to go down on count two. We're going to say 1, 2, and we're going to say 1, 2 if we stay here till midnight to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right? Discipline yourself. After an hour. Discipline yourself. Discipline. If you want that head to turn one, you say so. Make yourself do it. Give yourself a spanking or a talking to or pillow talk or something. But discipline yourself. All right, ready? Once more. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. Flex, flex, flex down, kick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One of our rules is you have to be in Rangerettes every day. And if they're there, then they're smiling. They know that they cannot do a routine as perfect as when they smile. Routine done without smiles is not good. And it has to be done correctly every time they do it. Now you've got to talk to yourself. You've got to smile, you've got to snap your fingers, you've got to step, step, kick, kick, and get it up on that knee. All right, here we go again. They are so far from the audience that each member has to overdo what she does. And it is all big, huge movements. They have to be pretty. They have to seem like they're excited and that they're loved to do what they do. And as long as they can put this over, then the audience is with them. We call it projection. The Rangerettes have many slogans to help them through all of their workouts. But there's one slogan that means more than anything else. Beauty knows no pain. Beautiful girls never have any pain with anything that makes them beautiful. I started using the slogan where we take our pictures just as soon as we get our uniform. At this particular place, there is a driveway with a retaining wall at the side of it. Half of the girls can stand on the retaining wall and half can stand on the driveway. But those that stand on the retaining wall, their left leg is into a hedge that is very stickery, and having to stand there with the pain, we all say and think as the camera clicks, beauty knows no pain. Smile, keep smiling, keep smiling. And when you get through, you won't be able to put your lips together, but a beauty knows no pain. We just keep them apart. The Rangerette smile is not like any other smile. Our smiles just have to come all through their legs, up through their body. It has to come through their soul. They have to smile because they love it and because they want to. Smile, smile. When they come off of the field, they've just smiled so hard and had so much fun doing what they're doing. It's kind of hard to get their face back in normal position once again. All right, smile. All the time. Never quit. Say, I'm beautiful. Come on, say it. With your face, with your body. Say you're beautiful. Look how differently you look. Come on, say I'm beautiful with your face. It's lovely. Rangerette. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Chiffon. Love. Poet. Everything. Say it beautiful. Stretch tall. Give
have a nice smile, but remember you're not on a football field. This is just on a stage. You have a nice smile, tighten your derriere, stretch tall. Where in the world did all those pounds come from? Get them off. Y'all are not stretching. Get those wrinkles out of your blouse, out of your leotards. Get those wrinkles out. Stretch tall. The difference in a girl when she first comes in a rangerette and when she leaves me is unbelievable. They gain so much confidence and self-poise. Strangers don't frighten them in any way. Adults do not frighten them. When a rangerette goes in to get a job from somebody, if they find out she's a rangerette, she always gets the job because they know she will always look well-groomed. I never treat them with any other feeling than they are perfect, they're never going to make a mistake, that they will always do a beautiful job.
Okay, turn, look at your audience, pose. Okay, go back. Okay, you go ahead. Okay, turn, you better be smiling. Okay, walk back and look at your audience. I saw the Rangerettes perform for the Cotton Bowl game in Dallas, and I thought they really did a really great job, and I'd never seen a group like Rangerettes, and I wanted to go out of state and meet other people, especially the South. Being from way up in the north, I wanted to find out what the people in the South were like, and I wanted to try out for a real dance team. And I had a girlfriend that is a rangerette, and she was real interested in dance, and we decided to just try our luck. We didn't know what to expect. We didn't understand everything that the Southern people said, and we just didn't understand. We were really homesick. Yeah. I guess it's not real important to some people, but I'm just used to a white Christmas, and I'm used to being with my family. If you're going to be in Rangerettes, and if you're from North Dakota, you just can't go flying home and flying back. I guess that's the biggest sacrifice, staying in Texas, like on Christmas Eve, and not having any snow, and not being with your family and people that you've just grown up with. When all the girls have their Rangerette uniforms on, it looks just great. Like the Rangerette belts, like you're supposed to have your belt at least 2 inches smaller than your waist, and they're stiff leather. You might end up with a few welts or something on your ribs, but you're just supposed to keep smiling through everything. During pre-training, your muscles get awfully sore, and you just can hardly walk. And being from North Dakota, as I said before, we weren't used to the heat down here, and we got really tired out, and we just were so tired we just slept every chance we could, and we weren't used to the treatment that we were given by the sophomore, but now that I am a sophomore, I understand why this treatment is necessary. It's to find out which girls really want to be in Rangerettes and can stick out the treatment you give, because to have an organization this size, you have to have discipline. You just have to learn a lot from those 2 weeks, because it's just an entirely different situation and all that constant pressure.
even if the girl doesn't make the rangerette line, it's a good experience. Most girls, after they think of it, want to think, well, you can't win everything.
When we finally post the numbers, there is going to be great emotion. It is one of the most vivid memories that a girl will ever have. Of course, those that make it cry. Those that don't cry. And then they grab each other in their thrill of making it. And then they grab each other in their sorrow. But those that do make it, they know at that moment, that great excitement, that all the noise and the hollering and the tears and everything that has gone with it, they know they're rangerettes. They know that in all this work, they really made it.